Just 5 days before WrestleMania 41, Monday Night Raw emanated from the Golden One Center in Sacramento, California, with an episode brimming with some of the biggest superstars in the industry, headlined by CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins. What went down with the three men involved in Saturday's main event, and what role did Paul Heyman play amid his increasing significance to the layered storyline? Find out now with this recap of last night's show, including ratings and analysis to the night's biggest and most important segments and matches. For this is Ridiculously Raw. Hey there, welcome everybody to Ridiculously Raw, the most must-see show on YouTube and streaming.com today. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined as always by my elite panel, good old MF Michael Fletcher, and the Phenom, Michael Bullock. Gentlemen, nothing left to say except happy WrestleMania week to you guys, and happy WrestleMania week out there to all of those who celebrate. Before we start tonight, I want to take this moment to dedicate tonight's show to our dear friend Mike Keenan, who is still recovering in the hospital there. So, brother, this one is for you, my friend. This one is for you from all of us. We appreciate your love and continued support of all of our shows, whether it be Ridiculously Raw, TXN Sports World, or Cerebral Smack Talk. He and his twin brother Brian are huge fans of our show. They tell me all the time how much they love our shows, and we appreciate their support. So, Mike, we're thinking of you, brother. We love you, brother, and we're going to put on it. And this week especially, we're going to make you even prouder than we already have. So we got a busy week here, boys. So let's not waste any more time and let's dive right on in. Ridiculously Raw tonight. We got Monday Night Raw, the go-home show from last night. NXT, their go-home show for Stand and Deliver. And after that dumpster fire of a show last week, they most assuredly needed a bounce back effort, and they bounced back in a big way here tonight. I'll tell you that right now. And then to close things out, MF and I will set the table for the TNA Unbreakable special that will take place this Thursday night on the TNA Plus app. So with all that being said, let's dive right on in, gentlemen. The final Monday Night Raw before WrestleMania 41 last night on Netflix. Golden One Center, Sacramento, California, the home of the NBA Sacramento Kings. And we started it off with an in-ring segment. The World Heavyweight Champion, Gunther delivered the best promo of his WWE career, a defiant one, in response to Jey Uso's threats from last week. Despite claiming to be in full control of his actions and not at all shaken by Jey Uso, he was clearly rattled as he vowed to defeat Jey Uso Saturday night in Las Vegas. For all of his claims that he is in control, he clearly wasn't. Excuse me. This was not the ring general fans are familiar with. He marched to the ring ahead of schedule, wore street clothes, and let the reaction from the WWE Universe frustrate him. He lacked the confidence that has been a trademark of his career in WWE. Gunther unraveled before our eyes, and no promise to beat Jey Uso for the fourth consecutive time will change what fans witnessed in this opening segment. Jey Uso, the challenger at WrestleMania 41, may not be afraid of the ring general, but this proved the same cannot be said of Gunther in relation to Jey Uso. Gunther said at the end of the day, the bell has to ring, and when that happens, you still can't lace my boots, and I will put you down for the fourth consecutive time. He also said 2 weeks ago, when I took a bath in your brother's blood, I was in full control, and I loved it. And he also said, thank the Lord I was in control 2 weeks ago, because if I wasn't, I would have drowned you both in Jimmy's blood. Oh, man. A great final promo from Gunther. And like I said, this may have been his best one. And this was absolutely well done. And again, it raises the level of excitement. It wasn't at first when this program started, it wasn't really there at first. But over the last, I want to say 2 to 3, maybe even 4 weeks or so, the excitement level has gone up week by week by week. And last night was no exception. And later on, Jey Uso had a rebuttal, and we will most certainly address that later on. But nonetheless, great opening segment here. Fantastic. One of the best, if not Gunther's best promo in WWE since he started on the main roster. Not much more to say. Good old MF Michael Fletcher, come on in. Happy WrestleMania week, and what a way to start it off with a great promo by Gunther.
Great promo by Gunther, trying to tell everybody that he's not shook and everything else, but the mannerisms, the attitude, just the look says otherwise. He is shook. He knows he went over the line. He knows he crossed it, and he now knows that Jey Uso is now on the hunt for him. It because of the whole time, the whole storyline was, can Jey get over the hump? Can Jey get over the hump? Can Jey do something that was gonna be forceful for us to make us believe that Jey Uso can win the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania? And Gunther alluded to the 10 weeks of hell. And I think Michael Bullock, Anthony, I think we can all agree for about 7 to 8 weeks, Gunther was firmly in control of that entire storyline. And that, yes, the 10 weeks of hell was definitely on the march. Except the minute he went after Jimmy and left him in that pool of blood, because that was the moment. And if you notice, that was the moment that everything swung, because now you had a more focused, a more ready, and a more fired up Jey Uso than ever before. The Yeet was done. The Yeet Master was done. What we had a couple of weeks ago, that was the right hand man of the bloodline, the sole heir apparent to the tribal chief status that was once allayed by Roman Reigns. That was the moment I saw that made me believe, oh no, Jey is locked in. Jey is there. Gunther, you messed up. You went too far, and now you're going to pay for it. And ever since that night, ever since that day, you've noticed Jey is different. He's locked. He's not that funny, goofy, doing the yeet dance and everything else. Yeah, he yeets from time to time, but you notice there was something different about main event Jey Uso that made me believe he's back. That's not a good sign for Gunther. And despite what Gunther is trying to project, you noticed it. He's shook. You know he made a mistake. And you know he went too far. And on Saturday night, on night one of WrestleMania, this might come back to bite him, and we could see a new World Heavyweight Champion. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Well, like you said, Fletch, I mean, like you said, this is definitely Gunther's best promo work, but yeah, I mean, like you said, for 7 long weeks, Gunther had everything in control. I mean, you saw Jey mess up with so many things, and Gunther always had the upper hand until when Gunther went one-on-one with Jimmy Uso, and Gunther had already beaten him, and then he tied Jey Uso to the ropes, and he forced Jey Uso to watch him beat up and bloodied Jimmy Uso, and you also saw that he wiped Jimmy Uso's blood on him. I'm like, that is one sick son of a bitch. I mean, and then you saw the following week, which was last week, when Jey Uso came out. Normally he does the yeeting with everyone, but you could just see the look in Jey Uso's face when he had to explain to his mom why he couldn't protect Jimmy Uso because he was helpless. He was scared. But then a light bulb finally came on and said, "I'm not scared of you." And that I had the night before WrestleMania, I have to go pray to the big man upstairs of what I'm about to become. And as soon as he said that, Fletch and Florio, I was like, oh crap. Gunther, you may have made the biggest mistake of your life because we're about to see a Jey Uso that we haven't seen in a long time. And you could just see Gunther looked rattled. I mean, and then going back to this promo, and you guys realized at the end, he said, when I beat up Jimmy Uso and I was bathing in his blood, I enjoyed it, every bit of it. And I got to ask you guys, what was going through your mind when Gunther said that? That it's almost like he was saying he had no regrets of what he did.
No. And he actually, and if you really think about it, he was probably baiting Jey Uso. Like, he was basically telling you, I did that to Jimmy. I could do that to you at WrestleMania. Like, he relished the fact that he might want to make him bleed, put that blood over his chest again. He's not out there to. Gunther's playing a game of chicken on Jey Uso.
Well, with the Jey Uso that we saw 7 weeks ago, it would have worked.
Yes.
But this time around,
nope.
No.
I agree.
I think I don't think it's going to work this time because
I agree.
Jey Uso is a different man. He's focused and he's going to unleash a side that we have not seen.
Dude, Jey Uso is the bloodline Jey Uso. The right-hand man. The main event. The heir apparent to the bloodline. Like I said, he was the one that, if you remember at the time, Roman Reigns handpicked to be the heir apparent of the bloodline. So that's the Jey Uso. If that's the Jey Uso we're getting at WrestleMania, I'm saying it. We're having a new World Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah, agreed. And my message to Gunther, you never should have made this personal. You never should have brought his family into it, especially his brother. Because, you can intimidate him and say, "Oh, I enjoyed it." Like I said, 7 weeks ago, it would have worked on Jey. He would have been scared. But not this Jey Uso. The main event Jey Uso, the right-hand man that was handpicked by Roman Reigns. This is the one I think we're getting. And I'm gonna say it right now. I'm not gonna wait until when we do our predictions on Thursday. Jey Uso is walking out of WrestleMania Saturday as the new World Heavyweight Champion.
Amen.
You can book it and you can take it to the damn bank. Great promo to start, Florio. It is yours.
And to close and to put this segment to bed here, to close this segment out, Gunther, my message to you is very simply this: in the immortal words of Michael Bullock, don't start something you can't finish. That's it. So,
and he may have started something he may not be able to finish.
And to think about, I want to say I started reading dirt sheets if you remember about 2 months ago or about a month and a half ago, that they were talking about maybe Jey Uso getting buried at WrestleMania.
You did mention that, yes.
I mentioned it.
Yes, you did.
But boy, have times changed.
Not happening.
Because now I truly believe we are going to get a new World Heavyweight Champion. But like I said, going into this, at the very beginning of this build, I thought Gunther was going to not only successfully defend, I thought he was going to snuff out the Yeet. I thought the Yeet was going to die at WrestleMania. I honestly believed it. Now, it's not going to happen. I think we're going to get a new champion. And like I said, it was because of this last month, Anthony. The last 2 to 3 weeks made me flip and change my mind, because going into it, I know you two were probably believing that Jey was going to win the title, but the way it was being booked, the way it was looking, I was like, there's no way in hell Jey's winning this. Now I do believe Jey's going to win it. I do.
Agreed. So we'll get more. We will definitely dive on into this a little bit more. We'll elaborate a great deal more on this come Thursday night on our huge Talking Wrestling TXN special right here on the Tone 25, and we'll have more on that at the end of the show when we plug the future content. So with that, gentlemen, let's get into some action here. Our first match of the night, a little preview of the Women's Tag Team Championship match you will see on Sunday night as part of WrestleMania Sunday. One half of the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Liv Morgan, her partner, Raquel Rodriguez, in her corner, squaring off against one half of the challenging team, Bayley, and in her corner was her partner, the Women's Intercontinental Champion, Lyra Valkyria. And Bayley wins the match in 12 minutes and 50 seconds. So MF, some momentum here for Bayley and Lyra before they challenge Liv and Raquel for the tag titles on Sunday.
Yes, solid win, great matchup. I'll say about 3.5 stars. It was a good matchup, good back and forth. A miscommunication cost Liv the match. But here's the thing. Normally when somebody gets the comeuppance or gets the advantage going into Mania, they end up losing it. So I think there's a very good possibility the champions could remain the champions, because I think they're going to come back and it's not going to bite them. And on top of that, something tells me that, I think it could be a mixed communicata between Bayley and Lyra that's going to cost them the title match. Because remember, Lyra is the Intercontinental Champion. I just don't see them booking her as a double champion. I don't see it. Even though it would be great for Lyra, because it would be history in the making, I just don't see it happening. Not this time. So we'll see how it plays out. 3.5 stars. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, 3.5 stars for me as well. I mean, like you said, 9 times out of 10, with what we saw tonight, there's a good chance there's a really good chance, I believe, in my opinion as well, that Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez are retaining the tag team champions. No doubt about it. And because I don't see her Liv taking back-to-back losses, especially on the grandest stage in them all. So 3.5 stars. It's yours, Florio.
Yeah, 3.5 stars as well. Liv Morgan has never defeated Bayley in singles competition, and that did not change last night on Raw. And I'll tell you what, guys, a second strong showing from Bayley, who remains as good as ever between the ropes, even if her creative lacks. She and Lyra Valkyria may not win the tag titles on Sunday night, but if they can bring the same chemistry we saw between Bayley and Liv here, the fans in Vegas could be in for a treat. You never know. Liv Morgan appeared to bang her back on the suplex off the steel steps. It appeared to affect her throughout the rest of the bout. With that said, Liv Morgan showed some great intensity throughout this bout. Not just looking to build momentum entering WrestleMania, but also finally erase that 0 in her win-loss record against Bayley. And Liv Morgan's work, whether you like her or you don't, Liv Morgan's work has endeared her to the fans, who greeted both combatants with dueling chants. So, yeah, 3.5 stars, and a good way to start the matches portion of Raw last night. All right, a lot of backstage stuff, of course, and then from there we move on to our next match. Rey Mysterio with the LWO in his corner, squaring off against Julius Creed, who had American Made in his corner. And the winner of the match, in 10 minutes and 15 seconds, it was Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio picks up the win over Julius Creed. Michael Bullock, Rey Mysterio, he's got momentum heading into his match against El Grande Americano as part of WrestleMania Saturday. He defeats Julius Creed in 10 minutes and 15 seconds.
Yeah, this was a solid match here. I'll give this about maybe 3.25. I mean, obviously, you want to give Rey the momentum going into his match with El Grande Americano, but after the match, it looks like El Grande Americano got one over on not just Rey Mysterio, but the rest of the LWO. So I think that, and if this is the booking 101, Rey Mysterio's going over, and I think this is also where I think El Grande Americano is finally going to get revealed as Chad Gable. And boy, howdy, boys, if that happens at WrestleMania, can you imagine the reaction of Adam Pearce when he sees this?
What Adam Pearce do we always say is the best, Bullock?
When he is angry.
Mm-hmm.
Because he has endured the, like, oh, I'm not feeling well, I can't compete. Like,
faking.
Yeah, faking it.
Faking illnesses.
Yeah. Chad Gable, I think you're about to get exposed, and Adam Pearce is going to be like, Chad, can I see you in my office? And that is when I think he's going to unleash hell on him.
Oh,
maybe with a fine, maybe with a suspension. Who knows?
Who knows?
Because right now, I would not want to be in Chad Gable's shoes when that happens.
If it happens.
If it happens. That's the thing.
We got to wait till Saturday.
Yeah, so nothing more to say. Florio, like I said, he may be enjoying it now, but if the reveal happens, who knows what'll happen.
Yeah. Rey Mysterio gained momentum ahead of WrestleMania by defeating Julius Creed in a strong singles bout last night, only for El Grande Americano to lay him out. His mask loaded with metal. He fended off the LWO during an attempted save and left them lying. The attack came at the conclusion of a match in which Julius Creed continued to impress with his raw athleticism and ability to work great matches against any opponent from any background. There was a spot or two that was not exactly smooth, but Julius Creed and Rey Mysterio recovered nicely, and the result was a match that earned chants of "This is awesome" from fans in Sacramento. The match between Rey Mysterio and El Grande Americano has the potential to be a fun one, with a potential ode to WrestleMania 9 and the double doink spot in the form of Americano and Chad Gable in the same place at the same time. Michael Cole and Pat McAfee put over Julius Creed's abilities from the moment he made his way to the ring. Hopefully, the emphasis on the uber athlete results in something more significant for him post-WrestleMania, because he is ready to be a star. And Rey Mysterio, he's 50 years old, and he has no business being as good as he is at this point in his career. History will look back fondly at this late run. 3 to 3.25 stars. I agree with the rating from Bullock there. So not much more to say here. MF, your thoughts. Rey Mysterio defeating Julius Creed in 10:15, but El Grande Americano got the last word.
Yeah, no, and you guys are all right about everything. 3 stars is my rating for the match. It was a fine match, and I do believe that we could have either the double doink situation at WrestleMania 9 or Chad Gable gets exposed, and if that happens, oh boy, it's gonna be a bad night for Chad Gable, no doubt about it. We're just gonna wait and see how it plays out. I mean, with everything going on, especially leading into WrestleMania, it's gonna be very interesting to see how this plays out. But yeah, nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
All right. So we continue on here and we get into our next match. The phenomenal AJ Styles squaring off against Karrion Kross with Scarlett in his corner as always. Winner of the match, 9 minutes and 50 seconds. It was the phenomenal AJ Styles. But then after the match was over, Logan Paul comes out and he ran his mouth as he always does, and then attacked AJ Styles and knocked him out with that right hand. The biggest takeaway of the AJ Styles Karrion Kross match was not the Phenomenal One's win ahead of his WrestleMania 41 showdown against Logan Paul on Sunday, but rather the renewed emphasis on the other superstar in that match. Karrion Kross was the star here, working through a spot or two that did not go as planned and still turning in a performance that gave fans a reason to suspect he may be in line for a post-WrestleMania push. After AJ Styles delivered the phenomenal forearm that earned him the win, Logan Paul interrupted and threw to a highlight reel featuring his greatest in-ring exploits. Karrion Kross attacked AJ Styles from behind, who fended him off but fell prey to the pulverizer as the social media star stood tall to close out the build to their match. From Michael Cole claiming Karrion Kross reintroduced his NXT entrance in an attempt to turn back the clocks to his greatest success, to sell the job he and Pat McAfee did during the match, it seems like Karrion Kross is en route to a push of some sort after WrestleMania. Karrion Kross dropped his arms and put them behind his back, not defending himself during AJ's finisher. He said last week he wanted the Phenomenal One to rediscover his evil ways. Having fired him up, perhaps it was on purpose. But this is another 3 to 3.25 star match. Momentum for AJ. But Logan Paul stands tall at the end. So we're definitely going to have to think about this one come Thursday night. So not much more for me to add. So MF, AJ Styles defeating Karrion Kross, 9 minutes and 50 seconds. Your thoughts?
And also, Anthony, something that you also need to address in the room, the post-fight interview that was done on WWE Digital that Karrion Kross did, showing his frustration. And he also, once again, reiterating that AJ needs to get into a darker place, because if he doesn't do that, he will not win at WrestleMania. He does not like Logan Paul. He doesn't. Karrion Kross does not like Logan Paul, but he wants AJ Styles to embrace the dark side. He wants the AJ Styles of New Japan, of Ring of Honor. He wants that, and for a number of years with the OC, he wants that AJ Styles to come back, to show up. And quite frankly, maybe that might be what AJ needs to get into that darker side, to go back to the heel. Even though I love AJ Styles, regardless babyface or not, or heel, he's been an amazing worker. But I get why Karrion Kross is trying to do this, because of his utter disdain for Logan Paul, that he'd rather see AJ Styles tap into that evilness, because he knows this AJ Styles is not going to beat Logan Paul. He's not going to do it. So that's why he's trying to bring it out. Why would Karrion Kross put his arms back and eat the phenomenal forearm for no reason? a guy like that with a brace for the impact. But he was willing to take the hit. There's something more than what meets the eye, boys. That is not just something that can happen out of nowhere. And look at all the guys that Karrion Kross has laid across during his time that just tries to grip a little bit, embrace the darker side, and look at the guys that he talked to, and they went down that path. Karrion Kross is a freaking oracle, boys. Maybe this is what AJ actually needed all along. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, that's very interesting, but we'll see if AJ actually does it. I mean, and like you said, even Karrion Kross has said he doesn't like Logan Paul either. So we'll see what happens. But what did you give it, Fletch, for the match?
I guess about 2.5 to 3.
Yeah, 2.5 to 3 is the right rating for it. So yeah, as far as that whole thing goes, we'll see if AJ taps into it or he does his usual shtick. So there's really nothing more for me to say. It's yours, Florio. And as you saw when I sent you that the Facebook video,
Yes, I did.
the original entrance is back, and I know how much you like it, especially when your girl is involved in it.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Mm.
He brought it back at a main event taping recently. So
I know Florio. How do I say it? I mean, he gets turned on.
He is in love with that baby girl, and I'll openly admit, I get it because I fell in love with Scarlett during the days of Ring of Honor. So, and she was very young back then. She used to have the red hair, and she was even more stunning as a redhead.
And remember that time when we were at that SmackDown tribute to the troops?
Yes.
For that entrance.
Absolutely.
Oh.
And when that entrance happened, I had to tell Florio.
You had to calm him down.
I say, calm down, Florio. Don't make me get a bucket of ice water to cool you down.
Well, it was too cold outside at that point. But
or maybe I should have thrown you in the water at Salty Brine State Beach.
It's part of your little plunge there. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh boy.
But to tell you folks, that just shows you how much my man Anthony Florio was into Scarlett.
It also goes back to her days in TNA when let's just say she was too hot for TV. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, need we say anything else?
I don't think so. Well, we got some business is about to pick up here, boys. Remember earlier in the show, I talked about Jey Uso and his rebuttal? Well, here it was. In response to Gunther's warning earlier, and in preparation for the biggest match of his career at WrestleMania, Jey Uso entered the arena through the crowd and proceeded to cut a promo on the commentary table. Uso claimed the ring general was afraid and that he was going to quote-unquote get him at Allegiant Stadium on Saturday night. MF, your thoughts on Jey Uso's rebuttal?
Basically short, sweet, and straight to the point. This is exactly what it needed it to be. It didn't need to be nothing more, nothing less. He was very focused, like we've been saying the last few weeks, and this was the perfect build. He wants to be the World Heavyweight Champion. I believe it. I see it. I'm sold. I cannot wait for this match to happen now. Yeah, this was perfect. Nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, it was basically short, sweet, and to the point. I mean, he gave his rebuttal and why he is walking out of WrestleMania 41 the new World Heavyweight Champion. Need we say more? So it's yours, Florio. Yeet.
Yeet. Like MF said, it was a short and sweet and to the point segment. There was nothing left to say. Jey Uso issued his warning to Gunther last week, and after calling him out, he returned to the fans who have been so instrumental in his opportunity. Jey Uso said, "Gunther, you're afraid I'm going to kick that ass." And Uso also said, having shaken Gunther to his core, yeeted with the fans to close out the segment. We even got an encore of it. So he was back to, after he cut the promo, he went back to doing the yeeting with the fans, and that has become such a staple. And there's no doubt about it. He has one of the best entrances in WWE today, if not the best one. And it was announced yesterday that Monday Night Raw will be heading back. We're finally going to have something WWE related here in Providence. About time. Monday night, July 7th. Monday Night Raw is coming here. So I'm hopeful that if they do a draft, that Jey Uso does not get switched over. I'm really hoping Jey Uso is not only still on Raw, but is also the World Heavyweight Champion.
And I'm sure you're hoping that Karrion Kross and Scarlett will be on Raw still.
If they're utilized, and I'm hoping for that too. So,
but I'll tell you what, if Jey Uso is the World Heavyweight Champion come July 7th, oh man, we're going to have a whole hell of a lot of fun.
You thought we had fun last time? Ho, ho, ho.
Oh, ain't nothing.
Child's play.
Yeah, but again, like you said, the draft, that can change everything, man. So, I mean...
And we got to wait to hear when the draft's going to happen.
Yeah, so I mean...
Keep an eye on that.
A lot of the times it does happen almost immediately right after Mania. I know it's like always like at least a couple of weeks to a month after Mania. So let's see. I mean, it could be at the earliest, maybe in May. It could be the draft because remember, I think it was always 2 or 3 weeks after WrestleMania. I think the latest I remember was like sometime in May. I think the first and second week in May they did the draft too. So
if that is the case,
it kind of has to. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out. But yeah, so
if that is the case, we're gonna have to keep an eye on it that night.
Most certainly will.
So we can find out who's gonna be coming to Providence come July 7th. Who will be part of Monday Night Raw by the time we get to July 7th?
Yeah.
Well, only time will tell. And my God, what is that? What is Jey Uso's entrance going to be like at WrestleMania?
Oof.
What in the world is that going to be like?
Oh man, yeah.
Going to be the biggest yeet fest ever. You thought the Rumble was huge? Oh. And one of those international shows? Oh, that's nothing. But my God, that's going to be something. Cannot wait for that match. It's going to be amazing. All right. Another WrestleMania preview match. This one served as a preview of the Fatal 4-Way that will take place Sunday night. There will be the Fatal 4-Way match for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. We had Penta squaring off against Finn Balor, and this match got thrown out and ended in a no contest in 11 minutes and 55 seconds. And Michael Bullock, we started with you here. Penta, Finn Balor, no contest, 11:55, and then all hell broke loose after that.
Yeah, all hell broke loose. Now, you know where I normally go when there is a fight gets thrown out in a no contest. I usually NA it, but this was a good match. So I'm gonna give this about I'll give it 3. I would give it 3 1/4, but the no contest definitely got rid. I mean, it definitely took away from it. So, yeah, that was. But then all hell broke loose, and then of course, Braun Breaker shows up, and he did it again, boys. But this time, it wasn't just Carlito. It was Carlito and Dominic that felt the effect of that spear
at the same time.
At the same time. And I'll tell you, boys, right now, I don't want to ever feel the effect of a Braun Breaker spear. Because he makes Roman Reigns' spear and Edge's spear look like child's play. So, yeah. There's really nothing more to say. 3 stars. Could have given it 3 1/4, but the no contest took away from it. So it's yours, Florio.
It's a 3 to 3 1/4. Could have given it 3.5, but the no contest definitely did it for me. Did it for me also. Finn Balor reminded the world why he is a former world champion, taking the fight to Penta, and even surviving the sacrifice arm breaker to stay in the match. Solid match that led to more of the same creatively from these 4 superstars. Sunday's bout will likely be excellent, but the build has been rather one-dimensional in recent weeks, mostly centering on Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio's diminishing relationship as personal desires trump what is best for the Judgment Day. This was Finn Balor's best singles showing in a long time. He looked like a superstar determined to prove he is still a main event-worthy competitor. Could he be motivated by a potential upcoming singles run? And Carlito ran away rather than suffering another spear from Breaker, only to endure one anyway. Him and Dominic both got speared at the exact same time. That just showed you how much of a freak Braun Breaker is. And then Braun and Penta got into it a little bit after. So anybody's game when it comes to Sunday. So we're definitely gonna have to think about this match come Thursday night when we do our big preview show. So 3 to 3 1/4, down from 3 1/4 to 3.5 because of that no contest, but still a very good match nonetheless. So MF Penta, Finn Balor, no contest in 11:55. All hell breaks loose afterwards. Braun Breaker and Penta go at it. Oh man, Sunday night, what a match this is going to be.
3 for the rating, no doubt about it. Because of the chaos after the match was over, yeah, nothing really more to add. So Anthony, back to you.
All right, and obviously nothing announced for next week, of course, because it is the Raw after Mania. You know they don't want anything to get out for the Raw after Mania, so we don't really need to set the table for next week. But here we go. We had one last order of business on this final Raw before WrestleMania, and that was a final in-ring segment, a final face-to-face with Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and CM Punk. And just days before they take center stage in the main event of night 1 of WrestleMania 41, Seth Rollins sent a message to CM Punk and Roman Reigns, leaving both men lying, and Paul Heyman terrified to close out the show. The Visionary capitalized on a brawl that ensued between Punk and the Tribal Chief. After Reigns shoved Heyman to the ground, with both men distracted, Rollins delivered a steel chair shot to Roman Reigns, a la the one that split up the Shield over a decade ago, then put an exclamation point on things with a curb stomp to CM Punk. Before that, Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins agreed on one thing: Paul Heyman making good on Punk's favor to accompany him to the squared circle at WrestleMania was a choice. But why? That is a question that will likely be answered in Vegas in CM Punk's first WrestleMania main event. For now, this was a solid, if unspectacular, segment that added nothing new of note. It's almost as if the show could have gone off the air after Penta and Finn Balor, and it would have lost nothing. Still, the Rollins chair shot was a nice callback to the moment that forever altered who Roman Reigns would become. Roman Reigns asked Paul Heyman, "Tell me why I'm supposed to carry the tab for your dumbass favor." And the manipulative Seth Rollins asked Roman Reigns, "Why is he choosing CM Punk over you?" So, solid, not overly spectacular promo to close things out. So, not much more to say. MF, Your thoughts on Reigns, Rollins, and Punk in their final face-off here?
Yeah, there was really nothing else it needed to be. There was nothing else that you needed it to add. We got all the drama, all the excitement, everything we needed heading into WrestleMania. When you got three of the biggest pillars of WWE's era right now, there's nothing you needed it to add. This was just a nice little touch for the final build, going to Vegas, heading to WrestleMania. It didn't need to be anything more than that. I think they did a really good job with it. I love the callback to the chair shot, but I hate to say this. If you're a Seth Rollins fan, you're not going to like what I'm about to say. That just sealed his fate at WrestleMania. Not only do I say he loses it, Seth Rollins is going to eat the pin. I don't know who's going to win. It's either going to be Roman or CM Punk. But now, because of what happened, Seth not only is losing this fight, he's going to eat the pin and lose at WrestleMania. Nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it didn't need anything else. I mean, you got the three biggest names right now ready to face off at WrestleMania. And like you said, after what happened, Seth Rollins ain't winning. It's either going to be Roman Reigns or CM Punk. So, but I don't know. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, last week after everything that happened, I was first thinking Seth Rollins is going to win and Paul Heyman's is gonna turn and join Seth Rollins. But after last night, I don't think it's going to happen now. So we'll see. It's yours, Florio.
All right. So overall thoughts, MF. You started off Monday Night Raw, go home show for WrestleMania to kick off WrestleMania week. How'd we do?
They did very good. You guys did good. I gotta say 8 out of 10. I thought it was a solid show. I thought everything looked solid, good to great. Nothing more to add. Michael Bullock, it's yours, man.
What did you give it, Fletch?
He gave it 8. He gave it 8 out of 10.
Yeah, 8 out of 10 is the correct rating for it. So, Florio, quick thought from you, and then we'll get into NXT.
Yes, indeed. And this was a show where the individual pieces were better than the overall product. There was some quality in-ring action, especially Bayley versus Liv Morgan and Rey Mysterio versus Julius Creed. There were some strong segments, including Gunther crashing out in the opening promo. So, definitely an 8 out of 10. I agree with the rating. And great final hype for WrestleMania. So there's really nothing more left to say except let's now get into NXT. The main roster is preparing for WrestleMania 41 this weekend, but the NXT crew is also preparing for their own big show, Stand and Deliver. Tonight's episode was their go-home show before Saturday afternoon's special, so all of the big storylines that are set to be featured at Stand and Deliver were addressed. While setting up those showdowns was a big focus, we also got plenty of action tonight, and let's take a look at everything that happened on this week's edition of NXT. We opened with a fatal four-way match, a number one contender's fatal four-way match to determine who would challenge Ricky Saints for the North American Championship at Stand and Deliver. Wes Lee versus Lexis King versus Eddie Thorpe versus Ethan Page. And the winner of the match in 12 minutes and 20 seconds and the number one contender to the NXT North American Championship, All Ego, Ethan Page. This was an enjoyable match with a lot of quick action. All four men looked like they could win at any moment, but Ethan Page ultimately earned the title shot by pinning Lexis King. The way King went crashing over the top rope onto the steps looked painful. The punches Lee was doing to Page and Thorpe before the Tower of Doom spot were some of the weakest punches I have ever seen in a WWE ring. What was that? And Eddie Thorpe had a couple of awkward moments. The main one was how hard it looked for him to go over the top rope when he was supposed to. But other than that, enjoyable match. Ricky Saints sat in on commentary, but Ethan Page goaded him into a fight, got in his face and got on his nerves, and he pushed Ricky Saints, and it was enough for the referee to toss Ricky Saints from ringside because of that. But nonetheless, Ethan Page wins the match, 12 minutes, 20 seconds. And now Ethan Page, so it will now be All Ego Ethan Page challenging Ricky Saints for the NXT North American Championship on Saturday afternoon as part of Stand and Deliver. So 3 1/4, 3.5. Definitely the correct rating for this one. So not much more to say. MF. Yeah, there's no question about it. This match was the outcome was never
predictable.
We all knew Ethan was going to win this.
Yeah, and we knew, and you know what this is about. You know why this match is happening. This is that match that they want to thumb it into Tony Khan. Let's be realistic, folks. Let's not try to play stupid here. We know why this match is happening. To hear the fans in Vegas at T-Mobile to yell out Tony fumbled on the NXT Stand and Deliver when these two guys cook on Saturday. On Saturday. Let's not play stupid here, folks, okay? Let's not be idiots here. That's why this is happening. So to show AEW how WWE and more importantly, how NXT can elevate their talent in front of the whole world on the biggest stage of them all on WrestleMania weekend. That's exactly why this is happening, more than anything else. Now, as far as the match goes, it was a 3 1/4 star fight. This was a solid matchup, no doubt about it. The outcome was never in doubt. We knew this was going to be the outcome. So now, let the chips fall where they may. We'll give you our predictions on Thursday night as part of the special edition for Talking Wrestling TXN. Bullock, it's yours.
This was about a 3 1/4, 3.5 star match, but yeah, this was predictable, and I know that we all know the outcome, and you even mentioned it, Fletch. Ricky Saints is winning, and the reason why, like you said, to stick it to Tony Khan, and basically everyone would say Tony fumbled because Tony Khan had something in Ricky Saints. Well, over in AEW was Ricky Starks. You had a chance to make him into something big, and you fumbled it. Well, what's your loss was WWE's gain, and they are trying to make him into that person that you failed to make him to be. And to prove once again why Tony Khan doesn't know what the hell he's doing in AEW.
Not only that, but you could also make the same argument for All Ego Ethan Page. Because they messed him up as well pretty badly. And when he immediately jumped over, you saw what happened. He literally instantly became the NXT champion. So this is an indictment on this fight will be a major indictment on Tony Khan more than anything else.
Exactly.
On Saturday.
And to top it all off, Fletch, and sorry to get off topic, but now there's a rumor going about that maybe Mariah May might be leaving AEW once her contract expires.
I heard that rumor, but that I hate to kibosh it, Bullock, but it's not happening anytime soon. Everybody was wondering, was it going to be in the summer? Now they're saying that it might be towards later in the year. But here's the thing. Guess who's reporting it? Dave Meltzer.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
You know how much I can't stand that prick.
So when it comes to that, I disavow any knowledge of this conversation. To me, I'll believe it when I see it. Because
Yeah,
right
same
now,
here. Because anything that comes out of freaking Dave Meltzer's mouth is nothing more than a bunch of hogwash. It's a bunch of bullshit.
Even Ryan, our fellow colleague and a good friend of ours, Ryan Abedisian, called it out. He already said it too. He said the exact same thing you're saying right now, Michael Bullock, and he said that on social media. Shout out to Ryan, by the way.
Yep,
but
shout out to you, Ryan.
He did call it out, and he said, "I'm not believing anything I'm hearing from Meltzer either." So right now, I'm not going to say anything because it came from Wrestling Observer. So I'm not believing anything that's coming out of that outlet. Anything from Brian Alvarez or Dave Meltzer, it's full of crap. Now if Sean Ross Sapp would have said something,
then we believe him.
Then I would take it more closer to the bank. Or another site like Wrestle Talk. Or
I'll even take it a step further, Fletch. Dave Meltzer is a freaking AEW mark.
He is.
Hell, he hates anything that has to do with WWE.
I'll believe. You know what? I'll even go further with this, and I cannot believe I'm about to say this. I believe Derek Ferrero over Dave Meltzer, and you know how we feel about Ferrero, but I respect him enough that anything he brings to the table is actually more believable than Meltzer's.
Exactly. Anything that comes out of our former colleague Derek Ferrero's mouth, I believe it 100% more than that stooge Dave Meltzer and that other stooge Brian Alvarez.
Frauds.
Exactly. They are nothing more than a bunch of freaking frauds. That the two of you think you know wrestling? Well, you don't know any shit, for gosh sakes. So, why don't you take all your reporting, all your knowledge of wrestling, and you could shove it up your ass? I'm done. Mini rant over. It is yours, Florio.
Let's try to keep the rants at a minimum here this week, guys. I mean, any other week, fine, but with WrestleMania week, let's keep the rants to a minimum here, guys.
I'm sorry, Florio, but this was something...
Oh, it had to be addressed. You're absolutely right.
I had to get off my chest, because you know how I feel about those two pricks.
You're not the only one. So, all right. So, with all that being said, let's move on to our next match. We had the final two. We had the first of the final two qualifying matches for the women's North American Championship ladder match at Stand and Deliver. Interesting matchup here. Tatum Paxley with Gigi Dolan in her corner, squaring off against Lola Vice. And the winner of the match, well, unfortunately, I do not have a time of the fall here. You're going to have to bear with me for just one moment because I'm going to make sure you get a time of the fall here. Let's see. Winner of the match in approximately 9 minutes and 56 seconds and qualifying for the ladder match at Stand and Deliver, Lola Vice. Lola Vice defeats Tatum Paxley, 9:56. MF, Lola Vice grabs the 5th spot with 1 spot left for that Women's North American Championship ladder match.
Yeah, and, you could even make an argument she could be the favorite. I mean, there's a lot of girls out there that could win this. I mean, Kalani won this all once before. Maybe it could be her. Lola definitely is in it now, so we gotta wait and see how this plays out. This was a fine matchup. This was about a 3-star bout. Nothing more to say. So, Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I would give it about 3 stars as well for the match. I mean, it was a good match, and obviously, yeah, I think having Lola Vice in there, I think was the right choice here. So nothing more to say. It is yours, Florio.
3.25 for this. The second half of the match had more intensity than the first, but there was something missing from this bout. It was for a spot in the Women's North American Championship ladder match, but did not feel like it had the level of or urgency it needed. Lola Vice got the win to earn her spot at Stand and Deliver. And that's really all there is to say on that. So, yeah, this is about 3 to 3 1/4 stars. All right. Next up is a match that, well, is always very tricky to rate. And that is a tag team gauntlet match. You remember this past Friday night on SmackDown, we saw one of these on the women's side. And Lyra Valkyria and Bayley, they ran the table. So here we go. It started off the first two teams, and this is another high stakes bout. The winner of this match will go on to challenge Nathan Frazier and Axiom for the NXT Tag Team Championship Saturday afternoon as part of Stand and Deliver. We started it off with Hank and Tank, along with Tyson DuPont and Tyreek Igwe, and Hank and Tank picked up the win in 1 minute and 38 seconds. The second team out, representing the Culling, it was Brooks Jensen and Nico Vance. And this one got a little bit of time. This one got about 8.5 minutes or so. It got just about 8.5 minutes. Actually, 8 minutes and 29 seconds to be exact. In 8 minutes and 29 seconds, Hank and Tank won this match. So the cumulative time so far for this bout was 10 minutes and 7 seconds. Third team out was representing the No Quarter Catch crew, Tavion Heights and Miles Bourne. And in 7 minutes and 49 seconds, Hank and Tank won that match as well. Total cumulative time so far, 17 minutes and 56 seconds. And the final team, Josh Briggs and Yoshiki Inamura. And in a total time, well, this match lasted 2 minutes and 49 seconds. 2 minutes and 49 seconds was the total time for this final bout. And the winners of the tag team gauntlet in a total cumulative time of 20 minutes and 45 seconds. We saw Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. You remember they ran the table on Friday night? Well, guess what? Hank and Tank did it tonight. Hank and Tank, the first team that started it, they went coast to coast, wire to wire. Hank and Tank with the biggest wins of their career. They do it in a cumulative time of 20 minutes and 45 seconds. And Michael Bullock, we said it on Saturday night when we did the Cerebral Smack Talk. These matches very tricky to rate, but nonetheless, Hank and Tank, biggest win of their careers. But could it lead to an even bigger win on Saturday when they challenge Fraxium for the titles? It could.
We'll see. But like you said, these gauntlet matches are tough to rate. So I'm going to try my best again, and I'm going to give this about maybe 3.5 on this one. So yeah, most definitely the biggest win for Hank and Tank. Could it lead to a bigger win? We'll see. Because the thing is, we always keep thinking, oh, Fraxium's going to lose their belts eventually, and it doesn't happen. So we'll see. It's yours, Florio.
We're going to have to definitely think about this one come Thursday for sure. This is the third tag team gauntlet we have seen in WWE in as many weeks, so it started to feel a little repetitive by the time this bout rolled around. That being said, Hank and Tank brought great energy to the ring, and a few of the other teams helped make them look like a well-oiled machine. Out of all the matches, the one I thought that really stood out was the one against Tavion Heights and Miles Bourne. They gave them an especially hard-hitting fight. It made no sense for Brooks Jensen to hold Nico Vance back when they got to the ring since he was starting for their team. And the way that Vance and that the Culling lost made them look like idiots. Vance took his eye off his opponent and paid the price. And Tavion Heights has good explosive power and speed. He has a lot of untapped potential. And I think he would be a great addition to American Made in the future one day. But nonetheless, Hank and Tank with the biggest win of their career. I agree, 3.5 stars. It was bookended by a couple of matches, but the two matches, the one with Tavion Heights and Miles Bourne, as well as the one with Brooks Jensen and Nico Vance, those were solid. But the Heights and Bourne one was the one that really stood out for me. But 3.5 stars overall, so not much more to say. MF, Hank and Tank, they ran the table.
Yeah, 3.5 stars, no doubt about it. I think they did a really good job with it. It was a solid matchup. I'm happy for the outcome. Happy for Hank and Tank to get the opportunity at the titles. Now, can they parlay it and bring it home on Saturday? It's a tough order because we've been waiting for Fraxium to lose these belts, and they have yet to do it. So, who knows? We'll see. Nothing more to say. Floyd, what's yours?
All right. And then we had the final. Well, then we had a moment. The D'Angelo family, Channing Stacks Lorenzo, Luca Crucifino, and some other members of the D'Angelo family. They had Rizzo with them, and they called out Dark State, and they had themselves a parking lot brawl, and then it eventually spilled into the CWC. But then Tony D'Angelo showed up and got the final and got them all out of there. Had some police with them, and it was announced that at Stand and Deliver, we're going to see Tony D'Angelo, Channing Stacks Lorenzo, and Luca Crucifino. They're going to square off against 3 members of Dark State in a 6-man tag team matchup. You can add that now to the card for Stand and Deliver on Saturday. So, and then from there, we had our final. Well, there's one other new match that has been added, but this is going to be actually on the kickoff show, on the countdown show for Stand and Deliver. There's going to be a fatal 4-way women's tag team match, and the winning team will challenge the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, whoever that may be, on NXT next week when NXT is live in Las Vegas. So it's going to be Lashley, and this was made by General Manager Ava, and the winner of this will challenge for the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions on the April 22nd, which is next week. Next week's edition of NXT in Vegas. It's going to be the Meta Girls, Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson, versus Fallon Henley and JC Jane of Fatal Influence, versus Tatum Paxley and Gigi Dolan, and versus Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade. So the winners of that match next Tuesday night will challenge either Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez or Lyra Valkyria and Bayley for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship next week. So there's a nice little hook. All right. Coming up, we got our final qualifying match for the the Women's North American Championship ladder match at Stand and Deliver. And this is our only cutout of the night. Carmen Petrovic, personal favorite of mine. I will admit I'm a full-blown member of her Xing Xing squad. Ashante the Adonis in her corner against a mystery opponent that we didn't know who was going to be until she showed up. And it's been a long time since we've seen this Spitfire back in NXT. Thea Hale is back in NXT. So it was Carmen Petrovic versus Thea Hale. Thea Hale wins the match. She made quick work of Carmen tonight. 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Thea Hale advances. So we have our final field for the Women's North American Championship ladder match. And here it is. It'll be Zarya versus Kalani Jordan versus Sol Ruka versus Izzy Dame of the Culling versus Lola Vice and versus the returning Thea Hale. So there's your field, and we'll give you our predictions on Thursday night. We had one last order of business here tonight, a final face-to-face. Well, let me just give a quick thought on the other match. Thea Hale. This was her first appearance since last summer's Great American Bash. Can you believe that? Last summer, Great American Bash. That's nutty to me. But I'll tell you, Thea Hale, she was aggressive right out of the gate and scored the win in 2 minutes and 46 seconds with the Kimura lock. Outcome was not surprising, but how we got there was. Thea Hale showing more focused intensity is exactly what she needs to do for her character to advance. And she got a nice pop when she appeared backstage. And I'm going to tell you right now, she's going to be one to watch for come Saturday. I'm telling you that right now. So we're going to have to wait and find out. But nonetheless, and by the way, that was about a 1-star match. Obviously the worst fight of the night. The final segment on tonight's show was Trick Williams, NXT champion Obafemi, and Javon Williams having one last confrontation before their NXT title bout on Saturday. Trick Williams and Obafemi ended up sending Javon Evans out of the ring so they could fight. The young OG came back in with a springboard attack that took out both men. He picked up the title and he posed with it to end the show. And it was a simple and effective segment to lay out all three Stand and Deliver opponents having a different characterization heading into Stand and Deliver. Trick Williams is simple as he's wearing it on his shirt. He's crashing out and becoming a bit like Carmelo Hayes, which is a nice character evolution to the dark side. Obafemi is simple and effective in playing the overconfident champion. And Javon Evans continues to show that he's more than just hops and flips. That young man has been proving over the last few months that he has range. And I am definitely rooting. I'm rooting for that young man. But, we'll see what happens. So gentlemen, if you want to give a quick thought on this segment, feel free. Or if not, we can just move on to the overall review.
I feel like it was fine for what it was worth. I don't think there was really much more build that you can do on this triple threat. I think they basically said the whole story, and I'm excited for what we're going to see on Saturday afternoon.
Definitely.
Yeah, I thought it was a fine segment, and everything I thought was said needed to be said. So let's get into the overall review.
All right. I don't remember who's supposed to start it. So
it was supposed to be me because there was a lot of cutouts. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right, MF. They needed a bounce back show. Because last week's show was not so good, but tonight, they bounced back big time.
They bounced back big time. It was good. I feel like they kind of played the motions more than anything else. I mean, it was a great go home show. 7.5 to 8 out of 10, but I'll go more 7.5. I felt like they did a good job. They tight up the loose ends that needed to be tightened. Now everything is all set. Everything's confirmed, unless there's a shocker somewhere along the way. But I think we have everything all laid out. To get Thea Hale back at this point in the game was great. I think to see Ethan Page versus Ricky Saints is going to be electric. And if you look at this card for a Stand and Deliver, it looks like it is going to stand and deliver in Vegas. So, can't wait. Michael Bullock, 7.5. It's yours.
Bullock, are you there?
Yeah, 7.5 for me. I mean, this was a really good show. I mean, good way for the final show before Stand and Deliver. So nothing more to say. Florio, you got the final say.
And then MF and I will do a quick rundown of the Unbreakable event on Thursday night for TNA. All right. It's not gonna. This is not gonna come without constructive criticism. Tonight's NXT put the final pieces in place before Stand and Deliver on Saturday, but it was a bit lackluster in the ring. The Fatal 4-Way match was the best thing on the show, but that was a low bar to clear this week. Nothing we saw was bad, but nothing stood out as overly exceptional either. Waiting until the last show to set up some of the matches for the event was an odd choice, considering how long WWE has had most of the WrestleMania card set up. But doing it this way made it so a lot of the feuds didn't have time to get stale. Stand and Deliver has some potential bangers on the card, so let's hope it lives up to its potential and doesn't get outshined by everything happening at WrestleMania. So it is right around that 7.5 to 8 out of 10 threshold. So we'll give you we'll run that down on Thursday night. All right. So with that being said, we do have one last order of business. MF and I, we're going to address the TNA Unbreakable special. 20 years after the original Unbreakable, which is set to be a tribute to what many are still calling to this day the greatest match in TNA history. We simply refer to it as the Unbreakable Three-Way, when it was the Fallen Angel, Christopher Daniels, versus the phenomenal AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe in a three-way match for the X Division Championship. AJ Styles went on to win that match, and it is still to this day talked about as one of the greatest, if not the greatest match in history. TNA is a staple of WrestleMania weekend, and it's back again this year with Unbreakable. The show title is intended as a 20th anniversary homage to the 2005 pay-per-view made famous by the genre-defining three-way dance involving AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, and Samoa Joe. That is not the only Unbreakable show in the promotion's canon, though. In all likelihood, the 2019 TV special probably will have more in common with 2025 than 2005, given that the 2019 main event was Sami Callihan versus Tessa Blanchard. Both Callihan and Blanchard are featured on this show, and we'll get into that. So let's run down the card. So this is a special event that will be exclusively on the TNA Plus app. It'll start at 10 p.m. Eastern. There will be a TNA Impact that will serve as a countdown to Unbreakable at the usual time of 8 o'clock on Access TV and also on the TNA Plus app. So we have 6 matches on the main card, and MF, we're going to start it off. Oh boy. Oh, here we go. It's going to be Mance Warner with Steph DeLander in his corner, squaring off against Sami Callihan in a match you and I know very well. Barbed Wire Massacre.
Basically, folks, if you never heard what Barbed Wire Massacre is, let's just lay it out for you. The ring ropes will be wrapped in barbed wire. They're not going to be regular ring ropes, guys. They're going to do away with it. The ring ropes will be purely barbed wire. There will be barbed wire everything in this matchup. It is not for the faint of heart. It will be a bloodfest. And if you are that bloodthirsty sicko, you are going to love this fight. This is going to be, without a doubt, the most violent match of the night.
Oh, yeah.
And this could end up being like, this will be an homage to the old school ECW days. If you love that stuff, you're going to love this fight. As far as who I think is going to win it, oh boy, I don't know. I want to say Sami Callihan, but I know they're trying to push Vance Warner lately, so maybe he gets the win. I don't know, Anthony. I think this is the hardest one to call out of all of the matches on that card.
Definitely, I'm right there with you. I'm going to take a chance and go with Vance Warner as well. So it's been done before. The Monster Abyss. There was one against Judas Macias. I remember that one. But the one that we all remember, MF, Abyss and Sabu, You know that one. So, anyways, I'm going with Mance Warner to win this one as well. So, all right. I don't know if this could be the main event, but then again, TNA is promoting a brand new championship. Well, actually, I think I'm going to save that one for the main event. We have a 6-man tag team matchup. Mike Santana will be teaming up with the Hardys, Matt and Jeff Hardy, and they're going to square off against Mustafa Ali and the Nemeth brothers, Nick and Ryan Nemeth. I got to be honest, this is another one. This is another tough one to call here. I mean, I really can't pick a winner here. This is a tough one to go with. I would not be surprised if Mustafa Ali and the Nemeths steal this one by nefarious means. Because let's not forget, the Hardys will be defending the TNA Tag Team Championship against the Nemeths at the Rebellion pay-per-view in a couple weeks. And also on that same show, Mustafa Ali and Mike Santana will be squaring off. And I think Mike Santana is going to win that match. So I think it would
service the heels to get the win,
Yes.
just to give them the momentum heading into that match. I agree. I agree. I think that could happen very much so. So yeah, I'm with you on that one, Anthony. I'm gonna go with Mustafa Ali and the Nemeths to win that one. Yeah.
All right. Okay, now you remember some time ago on Impact, Santino Marella, he promised a big announcement, and he delivered. No more Digital Media Championship. The Digital Media Championship has been retired. And in its place, we have a brand new TNA International Championship. Good for Santino on that. And how we're gonna crown this first ever champion? Well, let's pay homage to the greatest match in TNA history. Let's pay homage, as this match will be celebrating its 20th anniversary. The Unbreakable 3-Way. Daniels, Styles, Joe. We're going to have a series of 3-man matches culminating in a 3-way match. And whoever wins that final 3-way match will be the inaugural TNA International Champion. And AJ Francis of First Class, he has already qualified for that final match. So he's good. We're going to have 2 other 3-way matches, and those 2 winners will join AJ Francis, and the winner of that match becomes the inaugural TNA International Champion. The first match will feature Eddie Edwards of the System versus Ace Austin versus Steve Macklin. Ooh, boy, this is a tough one. This literally can go either way. It really can. Oh, gosh.
I kind of feel like because of the System, I think this is going to be Eddie.
Eddie Edwards?
I think Eddie gets it because I think the System's gonna stick their nose where it doesn't belong. I think the System will be the difference maker in that one.
That's very possible. And we have another System member in the second match. So we got to think about that one. But, I mean, I would not be surprised if Eddie won this match. I wouldn't. I wouldn't be surprised if Steve Macklin comes out of this one either. I mean, you can make an argument for all 3 of them, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they're all great. But maybe Eddie does get that one. I don't know. But watch out for Macklin. Watch out for Macklin, too. The other 3-way match, Zachary Wentz of the Rascals versus Johnny Dango Curtis of the System versus Eric Young of the Northern Armory. You know what? I'm actually going to go with Steve Macklin in that first match, and I'm actually going to go with Eric Young in this match because we've seen this thing going on with Macklin and Young for a while.
Yeah.
Because Eric Young has been trying to get Steve Macklin to join up with him in the Northern Armory. So
I'll go Eric Young for that second one. I'm still gonna go with Eddie Edwards to win the first one, but when it's all said and done, I think Francis wins the international title.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think AJ Francis becomes the international champion when this is all said and done.
I would not at all be surprised if that happens either. So yeah, I could see AJ Francis winning that. And this might be the main event. This may not be because of who's in it. A mixed tag team matchup. Frankie Kazarian teaming up with Tessa Blanchard, and they will square off against the TNA World Heavyweight Champion Joe Hendry and the Knockouts Champion Masha Slamovich. I'm going to go with Joe Hendry and Masha Slamovich to win this match. I think Hendry and Masha get the win here. I think Tessa is going to get the win back from Masha. I think Tessa's going to win the Knockouts title at Rebellion.
Yeah.
And could the magical run for Joe Hendry end at Rebellion? It could, because he's defending against both Frankie Kazarian and NXT's Ethan Page. So, and we'll get into that in a couple weeks. But for right now, I'm going to go with Joe Hendry and Masha Slamovich in the old send the crowd home happy bit. So
I agree with that. I'm going to go with Joe Hendry and Masha to win, and I'm actually going to go with Joe Hendry pinning Frankie Kazarian for the win. They're going to want to protect Tessa. Tessa will not be involved in the downfall or anything like that. They're going to want to protect her. So I think Frankie is going to take the dive on this one, and he's going to lose the match for his team. So I got Joe Hendry winning it, like you said, to send the crowd home happy. So nothing more to say, Florio.
Yeah. And this event takes place Thursday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, TNA Plus app from the Cox Pavilion in Las Vegas, Nevada. So there's our preview. And on Friday night, MF and I will give you our thoughts on it. So, all right. So with that will put the bow on this first show of WrestleMania week. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in as always. And we will be back with you again on Thursday night. Now, MF, what time are we doing it Thursday? Because we got our boys' night out on Thursday night. Do you want to do it at 10 or do you want to do it at the usual 10:30? Or what time do you want to do the thing there? All right. It's definitely going to be right around that. It's going to be around our usual 10:30 threshold on Thursday night, as we're going to have a very special edition of Talking Wrestling TXN as we continue our WrestleMania week coverage. Huge. This is the big one right here. We're going to be previewing NXT Stand and Deliver and WrestleMania 41. That all goes down on Thursday night around our 10:30 usual threshold. Friday night, 11 p.m., immediately following SmackDown, head on over to MF's channel, BraceFan95, for the Cerebral Smack Talk. MF and I will give you our thoughts on the TNA Unbreakable special, and then we are going to review WrestleMania SmackDown, and that'll be on Friday night. And then Saturday night, MF will have it also. We will review both NXT Stand and Deliver and night 1 of WrestleMania 41. And then Sunday night, we will have our review of WrestleMania 41 night 2. And then 1 week from tonight, we do it all over again, Ridiculously Raw. Monday Night Raw's fallout from WrestleMania and NXT's fallout from Stand and Deliver. And that'll be next week. So that's it. So until Thursday night, for the special edition of Talking Wrestling TXN, right back here on the Tone 25, this is Anthony Florio here for Good Old MF Michael Fletcher, for the Phenom Michael Bullock, and in spirit, of course, always and forever, our First Lady of Talking Wrestling TXN, the one and only Twisted Angel Didi Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it a Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed couple of days. And until Thursday night, for the Talking Wrestling TXN special, you have been watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and streaming.com. And remember, my friends, no matter what anyone tells you and beyond anything else, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who has been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long, and bye, everybody, bye.